Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. And if you are new here, my name is Hannah. I am a Western Practical Astrologer. All right, so in today's video, we're going to be looking at the nodes through the houses. Yes. Now, before we do dive in, make sure to comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let me know, where are the nodes in your chart? Whenever I think about my chart, well, the nodes are in North Node is in Capricorn, South Node is in Cancer. Looking to Placidus, the North Node is in the 4th, but when looking at whole sign, it is in the 5th. And then because of that, well, the South Node, when looking to the Placidus system, the South Node is in the 10th house, but when exploring or using the whole sign system, it is in the 11th house. Yes, let us know where are the nodes in your chart. And make sure to watch the nodes through the signs video, because by sign, we got into the how, right? So how do the energies manifest? But today with the houses, we're going to be exploring where. So we want to think about combining the two. Okay, so watch for your signs and then watch for your houses and then combine the two. I'll give some examples, I'm sure, throughout. All right, so the nodes through the houses. And I also just want to say here, thank you so much for the response. So looking at nodes through the signs, thank you for your response. The feedback, amazing. Thank you for sharing. I'm really glad that many of you have found these videos to be helpful. Now, if you would like to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. There you can also find my practical astrology products. So eBooks, guides, cheat sheets, all that good stuff. All the links to those will be in the description box below. And I do want to say thank you so much to my patrons over at Patreon for all of your support. If you would like to join the Patreon, you can do so down below. And make sure as well, if you want more information about the nodes in astrology, more thorough, more detailed, make sure that you check out the episode up on my podcast, the Cosmic Check-In podcast, episode 19, all about the nodes, and we actually explore dragonic charts. Ooh, what are those? Well, they have something to do with the nodes. Yes. So just a quick overview, and I'm gonna make this one quicker. If you maybe even want to know a little bit more, watch the nodes through the signs video. So just a refresher. This is just a refresher. The South Node is really about this energy output. We give off our energy. We teach, we share our gifts. The South Node can also be seen as, okay, who were you in a past life? If you're someone who believes in past lives, yes. And I just want to say, I did say this in the previous video, but I want to say that I'm not sure about past lives. I don't know. Do they exist? I'm not sure if I have been reincarnated, if I've lived in other lifetimes. I'm open to the idea. I am open to it. But even if, right, you do not necessarily believe in past lives, look at the South Node as your younger years. Look at it as, okay, who you were early on. And then the North Node is about who we grow to become. The North Node is about our purpose, our soul's purpose, especially if you do consider karma, past lives, etc. Our soul's purpose, our soul's mission. And then the North Node as well is really about our self-development, how we stretch, how we grow, how we learn, we receive energy, we take in, right? We take in energy. It's the energy inflow, input. And then the South Node is that outflow, the output. So we give from that South Node position, we take, receive from the North Node position. Naturally, I also want to mention here that The North Node can also be seen as our destiny, your destiny in this life. So in this particular video, when we explore the nodes through the houses, I will be exploring them from this perspective of your soul's purpose and your destiny. But just a couple more things I want to mention here quickly is the South Node can be it can act as our comfort zone. It can be perceived as a safe place, but the North Node is known as being, us exploring the unfamiliar, exploring the unknown, going on an adventure, taking the call, and can be perceived as a scary place. But yet the thing is that we can turn a blind eye to all of this. I was actually listening through the podcast episode about the nodes, and I believe actually listening through that I said there's the turning a blind eye to the South Node. Correction, should be the North Node. My apologies about that. So yes, we can turn a blind eye to the North Node, but we can also become power hungry. We can glorify it. Naturally, the thing about the South Node too is we can become stagnant. We can exhaust ourselves. So overall, what we want to think about when exploring the nodes is balance, creating lovely balance within our lives. Remember, when it comes to the nodes, you cannot have one without the other. They both exist together. Okay, so now we have went over the information about the nodes. Let's get into these pairings, the polarities, nodes through the houses. And just to say here, I decided to change my outfit because I was so uncomfortable. I just want cozy clothes today. Let me just say this, everyone. I'm gonna rest. I am resting after this session. Okay. Right. First up, we have this pairing, the polarity of the first house and the seventh house. So what is this polarity all about? First house is about our identity, right? Our self-identity, our personal aims and goals. Seventh house is about our relationship identity, right? So how we show up within relationships and how we identify when it comes to partnership. So if you have the North Node in the first house and the South Node in the seventh house, well, you are coming from this place of partnership and union commitment. You are coming from this space of working with others, clients, customers, often pairing up with other people, really wanting to relate with other people. Naturally, however, this can be a bit of a safe space for you. You can cling to your partnerships. You can cling to your relationships. There can be codependency issues there, people-pleasing issues there. And so this is about you headed toward this North Node area of self, thinking about what are your goals, what are your wants, what are your personal aims. Naturally, we want to think about the signs, right? Because the signs show up as the how, and the houses show up as the where. So, I mean, if, for instance, the South Node is in Libra and the North Node is in Aries, this is very much heightened. But let's say that the South Node is in Cancer and the North Node is in Capricorn. Well, then this South Node area could show up as you being used to nurturing others, supporting people within your relationships, clinging on to the emotional stuff when it comes to partnership. But then the North Node says, hey, what about your long-term goals? What do you want to build within the world? What is it that you would like to, become really good at? The whole self-mastery stuff to do with Capricorn and the hard work, the determination. So yes, make sure that you think about the signs for the how. Naturally, As well, I want to add to this that there is a back and forth process, okay? So you can bring the lessons that you learn by following the North Node back to the South Node. So you, North Node first house, South Node seventh house folks, you could bring the lessons you learn about independence, about your identity, your physical appearance, your own aims and goals. You can bring those lessons back to that of, okay, how can I strengthen my partnerships? How can I show up within my partnerships in a way where there is greater give and take? But then you can also, of course, use your gifts of relating and pairing up, and then invite those gifts to that of, okay, let's move. New chapters, new beginnings, identity changes. So then when we switch them around, okay, so we have now the North Node in the 7th house and the South Node in the 1st house. Well, with this particular polarity, just to remind you, this, the pairing, these houses, this is about first house territory being that of the self, being that of our personality, our name, our identity, our physical appearance. Then the 7th house is that of the other, relating, your significant other, perhaps, right? Just partnerships, relationships. Of course, this is also about how we ourselves appear, how we show up within partnerships, and the qualities that are reflected back to us. It can be a house of projection when it comes to the 7th. So in your case, this could be about you coming from this place of your personal aims and desires and goals, your independence, but perhaps it could be almost this hyper independence, or it can feel at times like you're alone or like you need to do everything on your own there. This could also be this safe place for you of, I don't need people to help me, I don't need other people to support me. And just more of this focus upon your physical appearance, your own self-identity there. But naturally, this is about you headed toward the North Node, right? Destiny is calling. Destiny is calling when it comes to the North Node. So destiny calls, growth calls when it comes to actually, hey, you know what? You could be good at business. You could come to be quite good at relating with other people, negotiating, being quite diplomatic. Yeah, just showing up in a union. Recognizing that, yeah, you do also crave partnership. And of course, the signs matter. So the signs will show the how. So let's say, for instance, this is the North Node in Gemini, the South Node in Sagittarius. So the Sagittarius influence could be that of you're an adventurer, you're an explorer, you love to jet off across the world, there's so much to discover. But a lot of that is about, okay, I'm seeking, and there's knowledge, and it's your personal freedom, etc., your personal aspirations, your personal goals. So the North Node in Gemini says, hey, but there's all these other people over here to talk to, relate to, connect with. Be good at networking there. You could develop skills to do with networking. Or maybe this is about collaborating, and the collaboration shows up via teaching or educating or just wanting to learn more. And of course, there is a back and forth process. So you can bring the lessons that you learn to do with partnership, bring those lessons back to that of your personal aims and goals to strengthen them. And then you can also bring your gifts to do with independence, bring your gifts there, and then carry them over to that of supporting others, showing up within those teams, and just creating more of this one-to-one situation where it's not just about you, it's not just about the self. Right, let's now move on to our second pairing. We have the second house and the 8th house. So firstly, the north node in the second house and the south node in the 8th house. So this pairing is really about second house area of personal resources, personal finances and earnings. And then the 8th house is so much about joint, right? There's joint resources, shared finances, debts, loans, repayments, stuff like that. But then it's also about that emotional bond, intimacy, relating on a more intimate level. So with the south node in the 8th house, if you have this, you are coming from this place of loss. You're coming from this place of, well, perhaps fearing vulnerability, also coming from this place of debt, repayment, or you are coming from a place of paranormal experiences and being really curious about the unknown, really curious about the other side. Naturally, however, this could be where you cling to this stuff to do with repressed emotions, bottling things up. Well, these things could be a safe place for you, actually. Or it could be a bit more complex than this, right? There could be some unresolved traumas there that are actually really, really deep and heavy and just a lot to get through. But you see, the north node in the second house says follow your destiny by growing when it comes to setting up your own personal accounts or setting up your own personal way of earning and building upon your own security there and taking care of your finances, taking care of your personal earnings and creating greater stability, creating greater security for yourself in life. So when we think about the signs, let's say, for example, let's say that the north node is in Libra and the south node is in Aries. Well, the south node stuff could look like repressed anger. It could look like traumas tied to sex. It could show up as being reckless, being foolish when it comes to shared resources, when it comes to debts and other people's money, stuff like that. And then the north node could show up as, okay, well, how about you try to gain some type of balance there within your life when it comes to your personal finances, your personal resources. But maybe there is a part of it that involves union, it involves partnership, right? Because of Libra. But still, there is that quality of greater harmony within your life. So yes, do consider the sign because the sign is going to show the how. Still, when we think about the back and forth process, you can bring the lessons that you gain to do with your stability, your security, bring those lessons back to that of the shared stuff to strengthen, how it is that you join maybe on a financial level with others, or how it is that you thinking about how you can even emotionally connect, the emotional bonding, the greater intimacy, greater vulnerability on your part. And then you can also bring your gifts of, matters to do with the occult or matters to do with the unknown, etc. You can bring those gifts to that of your skills, your talents, and what you wish to sort of focus on there, practically speaking, with the second house. So when we switch them, okay, we are switching it to the north node in the 8th house, south node in the second house. So just a reminder here, the second house is so much about our personal resources, our own sort of skills, our talents there, our self-worth as well is a big part of it, our self-value. And then the 8th house is more about the shared resources, shared accounts, shared money. And then it's also about intimacy, greater depth, and coming to know ourselves even on a deeper level because of partnership, because of union. Okay, so if you have this polarity then with the North Node in the 8th and the South Node in the 2nd, you are coming from this place of your own personal skills, your own personal gifts. You're coming from this place of, right, these are my resources. This is what I am creating. This is what I wish to obtain. Your personal values there, your core values, and your self-worth is of course a big focus. But naturally, the thing is that this could turn into this safe zone. This could turn into a place of clinging, right? Where you really cling to your resources, you cling to your finances. There could be some type of possessiveness there, or being so in your comfort zone that you're stagnant. And it's really about, okay, this is familiar to me. But you see, the North Node in the 8th house says, head towards me and see how you can transform, when it comes to your emotional world, when it comes to bonding on a deeper level with others. See how you can transform when it comes to trusting others with your secrets, trusting others when it comes to things that, are huge for you, right? We think about how the 8th house is so much about major life transitions and possible traumas, and it can be a place where we find it hard to open up, we find it hard to be vulnerable. So maybe this is about you coming to follow the North Node of trust and commitment and bonding on a deeper, more emotional level with others. Can be quite scary. I know, with the North Node and the 8th house. Working with the 8th house, it's often not easy, okay? But this is where we see your growth. This is where we see your growth. And when it comes to the signs, right? So the signs are going to show the high. Let's think about some signs. Let's consider. Okay, let's go with the North Node in Cancer and the South Node in Capricorn. So yes, you could be coming from this place of, right, I am consistently building, I'm creating structure, I'm creating organization within my life, I'm dedicated there, I'm responsible there. And you're thinking about the long haul a lot when it comes to your physical security. Oh my gosh, you can be really quite responsible. But then this could also be about being overly cautious, overly skeptical. Making life harder for yourself. So by following that North Node, this can maybe invite some type of like this emotional element, this emotional quality of, hey, you know what? There may be some things that I haven't fully processed yet. Some things tied to my childhood. Perhaps this is a lot to do with the mother or the mother-father dynamic there, right? Because Cancer rules the mother, Capricorn rules the father. Yeah, there could be even some repressed emotions on your part, but you actually come to sort of accept those or acknowledge those. And this within itself is like a transformation. You can comfort yourself a great deal through anything that is more complex and challenging on an emotional level. And then this is also then partly about the shared resource stuff, coming from a place of being tenacious and determined, right? Because Cancer can be a very determined sign, being very protective in this way. Yes, protective of the shared resource stuff with the North Node in Cancer. So yes, remember the signs are going to show the high, but this is a back and forth process. So you can bring the lessons that you learn by following the North Node, right? So lessons to do with things like intimacy, greater emotional connection, SEX, this type of stuff. You can bring those lessons back to strengthen the South Node, where you do feel more centered, more grounded, or you feel more secure within yourself, right? There's that self-worth piece. But then equally, you can bring your gifts to do with, okay, what are your skills? You can bring those things over to that of the North Node to support you along your journey, to assist you when it comes to the heavier stuff. Let's now move on to our third pairing, our third polarity. We've got the nodes in the 3rd and 9th houses. Right. So the 3rd house and the 9th house. The 3rd house is more about our immediate environment, right? Our early schooling, stuff like that. Chit chat, conversation. The 9th house is about our wider environment. It is traveling to faraway destinations. Naturally, the distance here depends on where you're from, right? I mean, I'm not even getting into that. I hope you know what I mean by that. Yes, so there's greater travel there with the 9th house, and the 9th house is also about our higher education, university, for example, college, and then it's more philosophical. It's asking those bigger questions. Right, so with this particular polarity of the North Node in the 3rd house and the South Node in the 9th house, well, you are coming from this place of possibly traveling the world, possibly relocating, moving. Yeah, you could have very well have literally moved countries as a child. Or it could be that you're coming from this place of knowing exactly, right, this is what I believe in. These are my religious values. These are my morals. These are my ethics. So you're coming from this space. And at the same time, you could very well cling to this. You could cling to a certain belief system. You could possibly be caught up in your own philosophies, and this is like a place of, this is safe to me, this is my own understanding of things, and so it must be true. Or you could very well cling to a particular higher education program, or sort of feel like you must follow that path, right? I mean, this could be a whole situation of you really believing that, yes, I need to go to university and get this course and get this degree, and that is me set, right? But there's something about the North Node in the 3rd house saying, is that what you really want to do? Is that what you really want to do? You could very well go and get a degree, within a particular subject. But then maybe later on in your life, you're like, actually, I'm curious about this other subject. And then you start learning, about something new. But you can also see how the higher educational stuff, the qualifications there, can be linked to that of more sort of general knowledge or wanting to learn more, basically. Plus, the North Node says that you could be headed towards that of focusing more on your immediate environment. I mean, you could be a bit of a traveler. And by this, I mean, yes, a traveler in terms of literally traveling the world, moving, relocating, or this could be traveling within your mind, where it is about discovery after discovery, exploration. But perhaps the North Node in the 3rd house relates more to that of, do you know what? I'm kind of done with that. I just want a little local area, right? I want to know that, okay, there's the coffee place here, or this is how I get to the shop here, and it's not so long distance. And maybe there's something here about that kind of community piece, right? Where you're introduced to the same types of people and faces, and you can catch up with them, right? It's just more of that local area community feel. And then this could also be about welcoming other subjects and topics and being interested, being curious. Plus, this could even be about you questioning what your beliefs are, possibly questioning what your morals are, maybe because of certain conversations that you have or because of other views. Now, let's think about this sign because the signs are going to show the how. Let's say the signs are Leo 3rd, Aquarius 9th. So the South Node in Aquarius in the 9th could very much be fanatical, extremist, this is the way, these are my opinions, community. There could be something very religious about this, but there's also that community fellowship piece added. Or this could be about feeling like things were quite chaotic, right? Because there was a lack of stability. Things were constantly changing, and you were being introduced to this group of people and that group of people. But you see, the North Node in Leo then says, well, what is my voice within all of this? What do I actually think? My personal views. And as well, finding joy when it comes to the everyday sort of local area, general chit chat stuff, finding joy within that. Then, being a part of a neighborhood where there is warmth and interest and you feel like you are a part of something in some way. Or this could be about following something more creative there when it comes to education and information. But as always, there is a back and forth process. The nodes are about balance. It's not one way or the other, of course. So what you can do is you can bring the lessons that you learn, right, from following the North Node, so lessons to do with more of the immediate environment stuff, local travel stuff, the general chit-chat stuff. You can bring that information back to strengthen the South Node of the wider visions, and you can develop your understanding better. Yes, you can develop and strengthen your worldviews more. And then you can also bring your gifts of discovery and knowledge seeking and everything to that of the North Node, right? To support the North Node on its quest for questioning and learning and continuing to educate yourself. So when we switch them around, so we have the North Node in the 9th house, the South Node in the 3rd house. Well, the pairing here, the polarity here is 3rd house is more immediate environment. It's more general conversations, chit chat. It's more about your early schooling and your neighborhood, neighbors, siblings. But the 9th house is to do with long distance travel, getting outside of your comfort zone. It's about your ethics, your philosophies, your beliefs, higher education, this type of stuff. So with this polarity, you're coming from this place of, okay, I kind of see, this is so funny. This is where I'm going to, like in movies where it's a small town girl, right? The small town girl travels, to some sort of like big city or whatever to make it in the world. This is what I'm thinking about. So I'm just laughing about that. But really, because the South Node could say that you're coming from this place of, right, this is my neighborhood, this is my local area, this is the coffee shop that I go to every day, or this is the school that I went to, and these are the people that I know. It could be like a small town situation. It could be just this, I'm only staying within these parameters, all right? Just taking these trips. But you see, this could also be a situation of you exhausting yourself in some way or clinging. So this, for instance, could be about, well, these are the people who I'm learning from. But there's more to explore. There's more out there in the world. There is more to see. And, it could even be this thing of you not believing other people because you're like, fact is fact. I've heard the truth. These are the facts from this group of people here. But you don't realize that you can expand your mind. You can expand it by learning more, being really curious about other people's views, from different cultures, from different countries. And you could do that, yes, by traveling. You could, or you could do that by learning, by studying, by taking on other educational programs that you never thought possible before. So you could head toward the North Node of expansion, right? You can really expand, you can really grow. Your destiny is calling, North Node in the 9th house, folks. But of course, we want to think about the signs, right? So let's go with, trying to think of what we can do. Let's go with Virgo Pisces. So let's say the South Node is in Virgo and the North Node is in Pisces. The South Node in Virgo in the 3rd house could show up as, yep, these people, they're correct. Or this is the information that I've been learning in school, right? So your early schooling years, you think about you being this student who was quite articulate, you wanted to get things correct, you did the studying, you cared about maybe impressing the teachers, possibly. Perfection could have been a big thing, right? So it's almost as if with the Virgo 3rd house influence, you needed to make sure that everything was in order and nothing could be out of order. No room for mistakes here, right? But you see, the North Node in Pisces sort of says, hey, there's also a lot to be said about the things that we don't see. And have you ever thought about this possibility? And have you ever thought about it this way? And you could more so get into the metaphysical stuff. And you could also start to develop more of this belief system of go with the flow, right? Go with the flow. It's not that serious. Yeah, you made a mistake there. So what? Move on with your day. And this could even be a case of the 3rd house stuff being more about your analytical mind. But the North Node in Pisces is more so about creativity, imagination. So do think about the signs, because the signs are going to show the how. But of course, we want to think about the back and forth process, right? So you could bring the lessons that you learn via travel, via greater exploration and everything, bring that information back to that of your local area stuff, your local neighborhood stuff. I mean, this could be a situation of you actually going on trips and traveling the world, and then you bring your new sort of way of viewing the world, bring that back to that of your city, and sort of apply it in a way. And you probably won't be able to see people the same way. Again, your entire perception just changes. But then equally, this is about you using your gifts to do with education and learning, bringing those gifts to just kind of support you when it comes to developing greater understanding, or when it comes to really branching out and seeing more, right? Seeing more of what life has to offer you through those experiences. Okay, so let's now think about our next pairing. We have the 4th and 10th houses. Firstly, North Node in the 4th, South Node in the 10th. This is actually the polarity I have whenever using the Placidus system. Right, so the 4th house then is so much about family, home. I mean, this one I feel is the easiest one out of all of the pairings, polarities to remember. 4th house is home, family. I mean, that's where I am now. I'm in my home. But 10th house is more so about okay, you outside there in the world, the public, how you show up within the public. And of course, I am showing up within the public from within the comfort of my home, which is funny, which I may touch on whenever I talk about my own experience with this combination. So anyway, yes, fourth house is your roots, your family, your upbringing, your emotional world. 10th house is what you want to achieve in the world, what you want to build in the world, your position within society, and what you become recognized for. So, with the North Node in the 4th and the South Node in the 10th, you're coming from this place of, well, accomplishment, achievement, really focusing on your reputation in the world and what you want to build, what you want to bring to the world. You're coming from this place of, yes, these are my long-term goals. And possibly too, if we think about how the 4th and the 10th can relate to that of the attitudes of our parental figures, the type of relationship we have with our parental figures. Well, this could very well be that you grew up with a certain parental figure who really pushed on you, right? You gotta succeed out there, you gotta achieve out there. And so maybe a part of their pushing sort of influenced you to be ambitious. Or you could feel that pressure to quite possibly achieve. But you see, this could also be where you exhaust yourself, where it's just constantly like work mode, work mode, work mode, constantly thinking about the next project, the next big goal, and maybe as well becoming so caught up in, how you're perceived by the public. So this could be like the safe place for you, this safe place of, this is how I want to be recognized, this is what I'm building, this is what I want to achieve in the world. It's interesting because, like I said, I have this combination. The North Node is actually in Capricorn in the 4th, and the South Node is in Cancer in the 10th. So that's an interesting combination because Cancer rules the 4th, Capricorn rules the 10th. And I can relate to what I have just said there. And maybe I do need to kind of listen to what I'm saying. As I communicate it, I'm like, I'm being such a hypocrite because I can see that I am constantly in work mode and I got to think about, well, when can I rest? When can I switch off? Maybe it is about me being a little bit more disciplined about that because the North Node is in Capricorn in the 4th. Greater responsibility then when it comes to home and family on my part, but back to you overall, right? Overall. Oh, and just greater responsibility when it comes to my emotional needs. My goodness, because I can deny those. Yes, I can. Anyway, so with this combination, the headed toward part, right? North Node and 4th house, folks, you're headed towards that of creating this more safe, comforting, nurturing, loving, settled place, right? This is about your emotional security, your emotional needs, but it's also about belonging, where you feel you're safe, where you feel you're protected, your own personal sanctuary, I guess, your own personal place of refuge. Okay? Home is where the heart is. You know what? When I say that, I can actually see that I'm more aligned with my notes than I thought. It's just with the North Node being in Capricorn, it takes time. It takes time. I'm getting there. I gotta cut myself some slack. With Capricorn, it is about the long haul. So, yes, still, this is about you headed toward the home and belonging stuff, possibly setting down roots somewhere. And then, because of this, we want to think about the signs. So I said there with myself, the North Node is in Capricorn, South Node is in Cancer, but let's say Let's say the North Node is in Virgo and the South Node is in Pisces. So we kind of touched on that earlier, but let's do it the other way of, okay, South Node in Pisces could be where you're recognized for your spiritual gifts. It could be where you're recognized for being a bit of a chameleon, a bit of a chameleon in front of the public there, trying on different hats. But the North Node in the fourth house in Virgo says, well, how about you also focus on greater organization when it comes to your home and family? Or how about you make sure that your living situation, it's tidy, it's clean, or that there is some type of order, right? There's order. What are the small steps you can put in place there to help things come together? Hopefully in an organic way, but naturally here, there is a back and forth process happening. So there could be a back and forth of bringing the lessons that you sort of learn to do with belonging and your emotional security, your emotional safety, bring that back to the South Node to strengthen the way that you accomplish, the way that you achieve and succeed within the world. And then equally, you can bring your gifts to do with maybe being consistent, hardworking, dedicated, discipline driven, etc. You can bring those gifts to do with, okay, how am I showing up within the home in maybe a more responsible, dedicated way, right? So to support the North Node too. Right, so let's now switch them around and think about the North Node in the 10th house, the South Node in the 4th house. Yes. So just a reminder here, when it comes to the 4th house and the 10th house, the 4th house is about our belonging, our roots, our ancestry, our inner security, our safety, our home, family, stuff like this. The 10th house is more about status. It's more about what we're known for, our reputation out there in the world, our successes, what we want to build. Okay, it's more so about our career, our vocation, and truly just that recognition piece. For you, you are coming from this place of, okay, this is my position within my home. This is the role that I play within my family. Maybe this could be a matter of you taking care of certain family members, or this could be a matter of you being very active within the home amongst your family. Just having these strong family bonds, these strong family ties, perhaps. And perhaps too, this could be a matter of you spend a lot of time at home. I mean, when we think about the South Node, it could be like a long time, okay, where you can cling. This could be a safe space for you. You might not really seek to want to get out there and build or focus on a career path. And you may also not really be all that bothered about recognition, etc. I'm sure, okay. But I feel as if the South Node in the 4th, it could possibly lean more toward that of being mothered, right? So others mothering you, taking care of you, and you not really being responsible. Of course, when it comes to responsibility, it doesn't just have to be about career. It's just more about how you can provide for yourself, fend for yourself, right? There is that level of self-sufficiency, I suppose you could say. So this is about you headed toward the North Node and thinking about, well, what would I like to structure within my life? What would I like to be good at? What can I be a professional at? What can I come to be an expert at? Possibly. And naturally, that could show up in many, many different ways for you. So let's think about the signs, because the signs are going to show the how. So let's think about, okay, let's go with Aquarius and Leo. So that kind of opposite way, right? You're coming from the South Node in Leo in the 4th house, and it's more about, okay, this is the attention that I need from my family, or this is the attention that I must give to my family, or this could be a matter of entertaining your family, feeling like you must be seen and recognized by your family, or this could more so be about creating within your home, right? the creative stuff, creative projects to do with Leo, but a lot of this happens within the comfort of your home. So the North Node in Aquarius says, hey, have you ever thought about sharing that with the world? Have you ever thought about maybe joining with teams and clubs, maybe like-minded people when it comes to your art, when it comes to your creativity? And also, how about you bring yourself to the group and we can shine together, right? So there could be this element of just community and networking and teamwork, right? Being a part of an organization, possibly a firm, but there's a lot of innovation happening and there is that community feel too. So think about the signs, think about the how. And as I've been saying, there is that back and forth process. So you can bring the lessons that you learn back to the South Node. So you can bring those lessons to do with achievement and accomplishment and success and responsibility and recognition. Bring those lessons back to that of home and family. And then you can also bring your gifts to do with belonging or supporting your family, nurturing your family, etc. Bring those gifts over to that of how you show up professionally. Okay, so we're going to move on then to that of the next pairing, the next axis. We have the 5th and the 11th houses. So whenever we explore the whole sign system in my chart, the North Node is in the 5th and the South Node is in the 11th. All right, so just to say here that this pairing, this polarity is about your own personal creativity with the 5th house. This is about your hobbies, what you enjoy, entertainment, what you do during your spare time, your individuality, your self-expression, your ego. Then the 11th house is about how you contribute to those group participations. It's about group aims, group goals, coming together, unity, friendship, looking at just hopes and wishes even for the future too. So with this combination of the North Node in the 5th and the South Node in the 11th, you're coming from this place of unity. You're coming from this place of togetherness and participating amongst groups, participating within society, really thinking about the role that you play within society and making a difference within the world and the changes that you want to see within the world. There's just so much that you focus on when it comes to these visions, when it comes to making things happen. So you're coming from this place, and you're also coming from this place of friendship. Naturally, however, there can be this clinging, this safe space stuff, the comfort zone stuff of you possibly not really wanting to leave particular groups or be separated from certain groups. This could also be about you being so concerned about the future or about what you wish to see within the world. My goodness, as someone who has the South Node and the 11th house whole sign, right? Thinking about whole sign, I often see that I'm constantly focusing on the future, and there's a challenge with me living in the present. But then when I think about my signs, because the signs are going to show the how, the South Node is in Cancer in the 11th, and I can see how I become so emotionally attached to people and how I can be protective within groups, but equally I care a lot about the needs and the emotions of others that I'm around, like my friends, for instance. Just even whenever I'm in a club or a team or a group, I care a lot and I'm emotionally impacted a lot of the time by all of that. Even if there is a dispute or a disagreement, I feel that, right, with Cancer there in the 11th house. So yes, South Node in the 11th house, folks, you could very well remain within your comfort zone when it comes to the community stuff, clubs, and possibly as well, you could cling to fame, cling to being a somebody, right? Where everyone knows who you are and they want to be around you, and the masses see you and you have all of these fans, etc. And so the North Node here in the 5th house says, how about you head towards me? Destiny is calling, right? So growing when it comes to your personal interests, your creativity, what you just enjoy because you enjoy it. How about you welcome living for today? Fun, have fun, enjoy the moment, be childlike, play around with ideas, be okay with spending some time off, shine bright, my goodness, express yourself, but it's not really about others, so to speak. It's more about because there's a love, there's a genuine love, there's a genuine desire. But then it's also about romantic relationships, okay? How you're seeing the attention you gain when it comes to romantic relationships and enjoying them, my goodness. So I know for myself, Capricorn is there with the North Node in the 5th house. And yes, I have been building. I've been really disciplined and consistent when it comes to my creative projects. So there's longevity there, and I'm really happy about that. But then it's also, I can recognize that I have worked through a lot of stuff when it comes to my way of showing up within romantic relationships, but also recognizing when I can be a little bit too serious. Do I ever have time off? I mean, but yeah, for me, then I feel as if this is saying, lighten up a little bit. Lighten up a little bit, Hannah. Play, play, play. So it's an interesting combination for me. So let's then think about the signs then. So like I said, my combination is North Node in Capricorn, South Node in Cancer. So let's try the North Node in Libra, the South Node in Aries. So the South Node in Aries in the 11th could show up as you being this pioneer, you being this leader when it comes to groups, right? Really just leading people, or really being excited about the visions of the collective and the goals of the collective and everybody coming together, and you being so passionate about that. But this could also show up as you becoming really hot-headed or argumentative or angry at other people, getting into all of these arguments and disputes with other people. But then you see the North Node in Libra invites more of this peace, peacefulness when it comes to romance and love and play and fun. Balance out that energy by going on that date, by spending some time off, by living for the now. Just do what lights you up. Do what lights you up. And those things, could be about beauty or art, culture, with Libra there, music. So do consider the signs, because the signs are going to show the how. And then with the back and forth process, you could bring the lessons that you learn by following the North Node. You can bring the lessons back to the South Node. So this could be about bringing lessons that you learn to do with fun and play, bringing that back to the groups. So you're like, oh my gosh, I have this amazing idea and we all need to do it together. Yeah. Because you spent that time to yourself just creating in that space. I feel like I do that. Oh my gosh, I feel like I do that here. Wow, that's cool. But then as well, what you could do is you could bring your gifts to do with being in a community, being together, seeing, that everybody has their own contributions, everyone's participating, etc. You can bring those gifts there and then carry them over to the North Node and sort of show up then in this way of I'm expressing myself, but I'm also expressing myself based on what I've learned from others. So when we switch them around, so we have the North Node in the 11th house, the South Node in the 5th house. So just a reminder, the 5th house, right? So when we look at this pairing, the 5th house is so much about our hobbies, fun, play, recreation, our spare time, this type of stuff. Yeah, our creativity, our creative projects, our creative outlets, romantic relationships, our individuality, how we express ourselves. Then the 11th house is so much about how we contribute to the group, how, it's just overall this group participation, this group contribution stuff, and community and the masses, theme, making an impact on the world, making a difference within the world. And so with this combination, you're coming from this place of, right, I have a lot of art. I have been creating a lot, possibly dating a lot, romantic relationship after romantic relationship. Or it could be that you have children. Yeah, you have children, right? It could be that you're coming from this place of so many ways that you play, so many ways that you enjoy entertainment, etc. But this could also be a safe place. There could be a clinging energy, this comfort zone energy of, I'm just going to keep creating over here. Or this comfort zone energy of, these are the things that I like, these are the things that I enjoy, and I'm just going to stay over here. But you see, the North Node says, how about you bring your creativity, your art to the group? Share with the group. How about you also spend time with friends? Because it could be a matter of being so focused on love, relationships, so focused on your children, if you have children. But maybe this is about, okay, is there a club you want to join? Is there a group you want to join? Any way that you can participate. Or maybe this is also about having eyes on you, right? Gaining some type of popularity or fame, to do with your creativity, or just being somewhat more social in general. Or this could be about you making a difference within the world, right? Starting a cause, starting a movement, being part of something quite charitable. There could be a great focus on your plans for the future. So this is about you more so moving toward that of how you show up within the collective, how you really participate and involve and include yourself within the collective. And like I said, the signs matter. So then let's say that the North Node is in Sagittarius in the 11th and the South Node is in Gemini in the 5th. So you could be coming from this place of puzzles, games. So playing could be more versatile, trying out many different forms of, play and fun, and having loads of different hobbies. Yeah, you could be multifaceted in this regard when it comes to fun and play. But then the North Node in Sagittarius says, get out there in the world, get out there and join communities and groups that may be about travel or may be about philosophy, journalism, religion. There's just something about exploration, exploring more about others and picking up on other people's worldviews, why they think the way they think, exploring and understanding other people's visions for the future too, just connecting on a more global scale and joining in this diverse way with others, possibly relating to friends in this way too, right? You could have friends from all corners of the world there with the North Node in Sagittarius in the 11th. But of course, there is a back and forth process. So you could bring the lessons that you learn to do with community and teams, etc., and the sort of collective visions. You could bring those lessons back to that of your creativity and your art and fun and romance. But then you can also bring your gifts to do with love and self-expression and your ego and your individuality. You can bring those gifts to that of really supporting communities. Even just you think about making a difference in the world, where you are truly concerned about how you can help, right? How you can help change the collective for the better. So lastly, we've got our final polarity, our final pairing, which is the 6th and the 12th houses. So just a quick overview here. The 6th house is about our everyday lives, the mundane, everyday tasks, everyday responsibilities. It's also about our physical health and how we look after our physical body. And this could be via fitness, diet, medications, etc. And then we have the 12th house, which is more about non-physical matters. This is more about spiritual concepts, spiritual ideas, or spiritual beliefs. It's about surrendering to a higher power, prayer, sleep, rest. Oh gosh, to decompress, to be within our own solitude, right? Where nobody else is watching us. But there's also elements here to do with health, right? Our spiritual health. This is really an axis of spine, mind, body, and soul. Yes. Now, if you have the North Node in the 6th house then, and the South Node in the 12th house, well, we see here that you're coming from this place of rest and relaxation. You're coming from this place of sleep, escapism, solitude. You're coming from this place as well of surrender, spirituality, your spiritual practices. But you see, this could also be where you cling. This is a safe space for you. This is a matter of, oh, I would rather not do the cleaning. I would much rather not have to deal with that situation, that problem, that issue, that work situation. I don't want to do it, right? Naturally, of course, this could be a bit more complex. There could be some challenges here, such as health implications, for instance. But still, the North Node here in the 6th house says, head towards me. Destiny is calling. And it says, just try and attend to one task at a time. Can you maybe try and think about the things that you can do right now? How about you put those practical steps in place to look after your physical body, to support yourself? Maybe you can attend to your everyday tasks and responsibilities. This is how you grow. And as well, there's something about refining your skills. Just refinement, improvement, just everyday improvement, getting through your chores, getting through your tasks. But this could also then be about how you can show up in relation to coworkers, colleagues, and employees. So instead of isolating yourself all the time, or being in solitude or escaping a lot, this is saying, can you come out of that? Can you come out of that and be in the world, exist in the world? This is your growth, really. But we want to think about the signs, because the signs are going to show us the how. So let's actually go with this. Let's say that the North Node is in Virgo and the South Node is in Pisces. I mean, this only heightens what I just said. So this could be a matter of you spending a lot of time alone with the South Node in the 12th house in Pisces. Avoidance could happen, isolation, burying your head in the sand. This could be where you sleep a lot, maybe a bit too much. This could be you being highly idealistic, very much in your own imagination, not really wanting to face reality, denying it, avoiding it at all costs. But the North Node in Virgo says, well, this is also about you looking after yourself. This is also about the little things you can do to make life easier for yourself. I mean, the washing, the cleaning, the everyday tasks, they're not going to just do themselves. And this could also be about, well, cleaning up how you look after your body. There could be avoidance here when it comes to your physical body. And naturally, you know, there could be more complex things going on here. And you also want to think about the entire chart. But this is just an example. It's just an example. Think about your personal relationship as always. Always your chart matters first. But yes, Virgo indicates more of a focus of your physical body, right? The maintenance of your health and how such things are important and should not be avoided there. But there is a back and forth process when it comes to the notes. So you could bring the lessons that you learn to do with following the North Node. So this could be about, right, you are gaining greater perspectives to do with your everyday tasks and responsibilities and services that you provide. Bring that information back to that of surrender, alone time, that of more of the spiritual stuff, right? You can strengthen these matters then. You can strengthen them. It's more of a holistic approach, right? And then equally, you can bring your gifts to do with spirituality, that more of that inner knowing, greater desires to contemplate, to go within, all of that. I mean, beautiful, beautiful. You can bring those gifts to that of your everyday life where there is magic in the mundane. There's a little mystery there. Possibly bringing your own ideals and imagination to that of the mundane. So then when we switch them around, so the North Node is in the 12th and the South Node is in the 6th. And just a reminder that the 6th house is about our daily work, is about the services we provide, the mundane, our everyday tasks, our health. So looking after our physical body. Pets also show up within the 6th house. But then the 12th house is more about seclusion. It's more about our solitude, escapism, rest, sleep, right? And the non-physical stuff. It's more spiritual, it's more emotional, it's more contemplative. So with the South Node in the 6th house, you're coming from this place of the mundane, the everyday tasks and responsibilities and the duties, and you got to do this and you got to do that. And it could also be that you're coming from this place of health and the maintenance of your health and constantly having to go to checkups and appointments and thinking about medications and all the rest of it. But this could also be where you exhaust yourself. This could be where you're busy, 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 busy. This could be where, oh, there's just not enough time to rest. There's not enough time to relax. And you are possibly burning yourself out, or you're getting so caught up on the everyday stuff that it's hard just to get a minute. It's hard to shut off your mind. My goodness. This could also be a safe place for you, right? A safe place to do with work and your services where you may cling to a certain position when it comes to your everyday work, or you may even cling to that of coworker relationships where you feel like, oh, I need to be I need to help my coworkers. I need to show up constantly within my work. But then it's like, are you getting recognition for that? Are you being really are you being compensated? Are you being paid well there for all of those things that you're doing with the South Node in the 6th house? So The North Node in the 12th house, the North Node in the 12th house says, hey, destiny is calling, head towards me, and think about your rest, how you can decompress from the day. Think about retreating from time to time. Consider your spiritual wellness, your spiritual well-being. Maybe even think about how you can often sacrifice or surrender. This could also be a situation with the South Node in the 12th. I gotta say that there could be a lot of surrendering, a lot of sacrificing for others, but there could also be this happening with the other way. But perhaps this is about actually coming to terms with what your spiritual beliefs are, and even just taking some time to reflect, to go within, and to properly recharge your energy. Sleep. My goodness. Sleep, sleep, sleep. How healing, how beneficial sleep can be, how beneficial it can be to rest. So, with that being said, we want to think about the signs, because the signs are going to show the high. So let's say the North Node is in Leo and the South Node is in Aquarius. So you could be coming from this place of community and teams and your humanity and helping your coworkers and being of service and giving out all of your knowledge. Like, yes, yeah. It's full, it's overflowing, busy, and busy when it comes to innovating, busy when it comes to inventing and experimenting with the everyday, trying out new things. But you could possibly exhaust yourself. So the North Node in Leo says, how about you just enjoy the now? How about you relax, you rest by watching fun TV shows, animations, movies, right? Music. Art is a big thing here. Embracing your creativity. Just have fun. My gosh, play around here within the mystery. Be okay with a little bit of disorganization, a little bit of disorder from time to time. It doesn't have to be all perfect and things don't have to make sense all the time. Just flow with it. Have fun with it. How does your heart sing here? So do think about the signs that the nodes are in, because they're going to show the high. But essentially, there is a back and forth process here. So you can bring the lessons that you learn to do with these spiritual concepts or to do with your relationship with the divine there. You can bring what you learn, the lessons that you learn, back to strengthen how you show up within your everyday life. When it comes to the mundane, when it comes to your checklist, right? Your to-do lists, rather, for example. Or you can bring lessons to do with greater healing, right? The therapeutic stuff, which can help support you when it comes to even diet and nutrition. But then you can also then bring your gifts to do with diet and nutrition and health, right? Your physical health. Bring those gifts to support you when it comes to rest and relaxation. And I'm going to give you just one more, just a quick experience that came to my mind there. The reason why I'm saying this is because I have an Aquarius stellium in the 6th. Now, when it comes to stelliums, it's important to balance out the energy. So it's kind of, there's a similarity there with the nodes, if you can maybe get what I'm saying here. So for me, it's important for me to balance out my 6th house with the Aquarius, to balance that out with the Leo in the 12th. And here is something that I've been coming to learn about exercise. The more muscle you have, the more you actually burn whenever you're resting. So when you have more muscle on your body, you can actually burn more when you're resting, when you're relaxing. That just came to my mind. That may be useful to you. It may not be so useful to you, but I wanted to share it just based on experience. And I thought it was maybe a fun fact to share with you. Okay, so with that, everybody, this has been the nodes through the houses. Thank you all so much for being here. Now, again, I just want to remind you, if you want to join the Patreon, you can do so. The link is below. I want to say thank you so much to my patrons over at Patreon for all of your support. And if you would like to book a reading with me, you can visit my website, hannahselsewhere.com. Thank you all so much for listening. If you would like to buy me a coffee too, that link is right there. No pressure to do anything, of course, but overall, I hope that you found this video to be helpful. Please let me know if you did. Let me know where are the nodes within your chart. I hope I was able to shine some useful light on that of the how and the where with the nodes. Just a reminder, my nodes are North Node in Capricorn, South Node in Cancer. And when using the Placidus system, the North Node is in the 4th, South Node is in the 10th. When using the whole sign system, the North Node is in the 5th, and the South Node is in the 11th. Thank you everyone again, and I will talk to you all in the next video.